Alright, what's up everybody? We're back with another edition of Everyday Hoops. Hope you guys are having a good one. Today we're going to talk about the Boston Celtics. They have won the 2024 NBA Championship. They beat the Mavericks in 5 games. We'll talk about that here in today's video. Thank you guys for the views on the videos and the shorts recently. I really appreciate it. If you do like the content around here, consider subscribing, turn notifications, all stuff like that. I'd really appreciate it. It really helps out a lot. Join the membership. If you want to learn more about the membership, there's a video on my channel explaining all of it. You can go back and watch that. Link to my Twitter, TikTok, stuff like that, description down below. And yeah, don't waste any more of your time. Let's get right into it. So the Boston Celtics have done it. They defeat the Mavericks in 5. I'll talk for a second about Game 5, I guess. Wasn't honestly not much to talk about. Celtics came out and dominated this game. It was a close game early on, but then once we got to the second quarter, Boston outscored Dallas 39-28. Jason Tatum started to really get it going. Drew Holiday was amazing in the first half of this game as well. Dallas, I felt like just couldn't never find a rhythm shooting in this game. Luka and Kyrie both didn't really come out really aggressive enough. Payne Pritchard hit a half-court shot because apparently he's the half-court shot king now, and that's when you get to tune out of the game. Until they're doing the presentation. So, yeah, they win 106-88. Jason Tatum, 31, 8, and 11. 11 for 24 shooting. A great game in this one. Jaylen Brown, 21, 8, and 6. Drew Holiday was big, 15, 11. 14 for Derek White. He hit 4 3-pointers. Boston hits 13 threes. They forced 13 turnovers. They win the assist battle, win the rebounding battle, 51-35, including 15 offensive boards. Just did everything better than the Mavericks in this entire series. Take away Game 4, because Game 4 was an absolute dominant win by Dallas. But Boston did it. And now they're holding the trophy. They win the NBA championship, winning 5. Only losing 3 games throughout this playoffs. A great run for Boston. And they did it. Obviously, the expectations coming into this year was championship. Either we're holding the trophy or it's a failure of the year. With the team they had, shout out to Brad Stevens, the real MVP. The way he built this team after a disappointing loss in the conference finals last year, after being in the NBA finals the year before that, went out, made the Kristaps Porzingis trade, then made the Drew Holiday trade, made the Derek White trade a couple years ago. Just doing amazing things. This team was built amazing. This team was built to win a championship. Brad Stevens did everything that you could ask for of a GM for a team. If you're a fan or a team or something, you would want your team to do what Brad Stevens has done with this team and go all in, make the necessary moves at the right time, and just give you the best chance from the front office perspective of winning. And that's what Brad Stevens did. So credit to him. He deserves a lot of credit for building this team together. And then you got everything else. They're the best team in the regular season, 64-18. Best team by a wide margin in the regular season. They're dominant. They always feel like a dominant Eastern Conference or regular season team the last couple of years. But really, it was going to be all about the playoffs. That's what everybody's going to talk about. The regular season kind of didn't really matter, I guess, for a lot of people. It just was, all right, what are you going to do in the playoffs? Because we know you can win games in the regular season stuff. What are you going to do when it comes to April through June? What are you going to do? And you could say there's been a lot of talk about this Celtics playoff run, obviously, because they're so dominant and so good that we got to find ways to pick at it negatively, obviously. And I'm not, saying I'm excluded from that, obviously. I didn't get into some of the, discussion that was going on with some of the Celtics things, but obviously, Celtics are so dominant. The only way we could talk about the Celtics and not just say, yeah, they're good, is to kind of just nitpick stuff, which is what I was doing sometimes as well. I'm not going to lie to you. But yeah, they were dominant. First round, they took care of the Miami Heat in 5 games. They did lose game 2 because Miami put on an insane shooting performance, and some of the moments were a lot closer than they should have been, but they ended up winning in 5. Second round against the Cavaliers, injured Jared Allen. They lose game 2 in embarrassing fashion. Game 4 and game 5 without Donovan Mitchell. Games were a lot closer than they should have been, but at the end of the day, they end up winning, so it doesn't matter. Conference finals against the Indiana Pacers. Game 1, they get kind of handed the game because the Indiana Pacers made some mistakes on their own. Go to overtime. Jaylen Brown hits the shot, and Celtics win that game. Game 2, another close one. Boston comes out and win. No Tyrese Halliburton game 3 and game 4. Down 18 in the first half of game 3. Come out, erase that. Drew Holiday makes some big plays. They win the game. Game 4, close one. They win the game. All 4 games, a lot closer than they should have been, especially the last 2 without Tyrese Halliburton. And at the end of the day, they won all 4 games. So, doesn't matter. Get to the finals. Game 1, come out momentum, swing. They get it. Game 2, not a great game from them, but they still come out, find a way to win games. Drew Holiday was huge in game 2. Game 3, another one, kind of very close at the end, but they found a way to manage to win it thanks to Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum. Game 4, disgusting display. They get absolutely embarrassed. Come back to game 5, this game, absolutely dominant performance, and they end up winning. So, yes, was it as dominant maybe as it should have been? No. Jason Tatum, did he have the greatest playoff run and all that stuff? No. Was it perfect? No. Did they get lucky maybe with some injuries? Yes. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter because they won it. They have to go out and play and win the games at the end of the day. And even if no matter if you win by 20 or you win by a game winner, it counts as a win in the playoffs. And at the end of the day, that's what matters. And the Celtics did that. They won 16 games. It wasn't the craziest dominant 16 games. It wasn't what everyone expected to. It was a lot closer maybe and all this stuff. They won the 16 games. And they're going to be hanging the banner. That's all that matters right now. And credit to a lot of Celtic players. Obviously, Jaylen Brown, Finals MVP. Shout out to Jaylen Brown for winning Finals MVP. Obviously, usually it goes to the best player on each team, but Jaylen Brown won Eastern Conference Finals MVP and won Finals MVP, man. Shout out to Jaylen Brown. He took big steps as a leader this year, especially in the playoffs. When he was mic'd up and stuff, you definitely could see he was taking on the role of the leader. Marcus Smart usually was kind of like that guy, but now Jaylen Brown took on that step. He was, honestly, I would say he was the most consistent Celtic in this playoffs. From game 1 to game 5 of the finals, he was the most consistent player on the Celtics. So I give a lot of credit to him. Jason Tatum, a lot of stuff being said about his name. At the end of the day, he came out, he performed well in game 5. Was it the greatest playoff run for him? Was it the greatest shooting performances? Could he have been better? Yes. But at the end of the day, he came out, he was a good playmaker, played good defense, never gave up on his team, played till the end, and came out and did what he had to do, and now he's an NBA champion at the end of the day. So, can't take that away from him. Drew Holiday was huge, especially in the last 2 series, the conference finals and the NBA finals. He was honestly a competitor to win finals MVP as well. He had a really good game too, a really good game this game as well. Every game he made some impact. Making that trade and getting him was just so impactful. He's just one of those guys that just is going to come in and impact winning. And it's guys that you want on your team. He just does so many good things. Derek White doing his things, probably the best role player in the league right now. He's amazing. Al Horford finally has an NBA championship. It just seems so right. Always been a winner. College won 2 championships. He's been one of the most winning players in the NBA. Second on the list, 186 games without an NBA championship, but that ends now. He finally has one. Is this his last time we see him on the court? I don't really know. But no matter what, Al Horford, respect, shout out to him. He finally has an NBA championship. Kristaps Porzingis has a championship. Joe Mazzulla, credit to him, the youngest coach in the league. I think he's the youngest coach in the league still. If not, he's one of the youngest. I think he's 39 or something like that. Come out, and he was not even supposed to be the coach. Ime Udoka got fired. He was kind of pushed into a coaching job right before the start of last year, and now he's an NBA champion. Shout out to him. And yeah, Boston has done it. Look at the Mavericks side. I'm going to go more in depth on Boston and Dallas. Of course, I'm going to do my look-in series at the end of each team's season. So the next couple days, we will have the Dallas Mavericks video and we'll have the Boston Celtics video out on Wednesday and Thursday. So be on the lookout for that. That's where I'm going to go more in depth about both these teams. But for the Mavericks, they made it here to the finals. Obviously, got to give credit to them. Went through a very tough Western Conference. The Clippers, the Thunder. They played all 50 win teams and the best team in the league in the finals. And, got here. So credit to him. Luka Doncic will be back in the finals, I assume. I don't know about next year, but he will be back. Too good of a player. 25 years old, already has a finals appearance now under his belt. Hopefully he'll be better. Shout out to Kyrie Irving for kind of changing the narrative on him. The role players, even though didn't have an amazing finals, but amazing first 2 rounds, and they can say they were played in the NBA finals. Some of those guys might be up for some big paydays pretty soon. But yeah, shout out to Dallas Mavericks. They came here, they got all the way here, and unfortunately, they just weren't good enough. That's what it's been all year. Boston is just better. That's at the end of the day. They were just better than everybody. There was no specific thing they did. There was no, luck of the draw. They were better than everybody. Plain and simple. End of the day, the best team won. That's how you do it. That's how it happened. And shout out to the Boston Celtics. 18th championship. Funny that's on the 17 or whatever year anniversary that they won their last one in 08. But yeah, shout out to the Celtics, and the NBA season is over now, which is bittersweet because obviously you love to see an NBA champion crown, but now we got to wait a couple months for no basketball. Well, no NBA regular season basketball at least. But of course, we got still the content coming. I'm gonna make probably a video pretty soon about the content in the future of the channel and stuff like that. Be on the lookout for that one. But yeah, that's all I get to say. Yeah, it's gonna be it for today. Hope you guys enjoyed. Once again, if you like the content around here, consider subscribing, like, turn notifications, do all stuff like that. I'd really appreciate it. It really upset a lot. And yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow.